into on this Southern Saturday. You already know we right here at work decided to hop on top of the wood individual. See what's the talk of the town. It's going down. The word on the curve, you heard me. Let me just hit this up. Here in Southern California, we're having a beautiful day. Sunny, hot. Perfect day to be out and about, getting yourself into whatever, people get in themselves into. Just remember to be aware of your surroundings because it does crack. So always keep trucha for the carrucha. And I did drop a new video on my other channel, a battle rap reaction. For those who are curious, to peep that out. It's involving, a pretty classic rola, I would like to say, when it comes to the Chicano rap of things. So for those who are curious. What's cracking lacking, Mr. Pasas de Philip in the casa for the raza? Whoa, whoa. What's good, my boy? Just dropped a battle rap reaction on the other channel. You already know. What's cracking like it, my boy? Derek's definitely up in the building. I'm assuming getting ready to make the chitta. The guap. That guac. I feel you. You already know, my boy. We chilling. Works a little slow, so we just, chill maxing. It was hectic earlier, but now it seemed to calm down, so we good. We're a little backed up. I don't know if that's because the morning shift we're slacking or what. Because we ain't trying to stay longer. Just get down with your battle. Orale, all right. Yeah, it was an interesting one, classic rola by the infamous Proper Dos, Frank V. Spring starts. We are getting warm. Serio? Shit was kind of hot today. It's been hot since earlier. I've been up since like 9. Had to go run some errands. First time that I went to what's the name of that shit? Audi's supermarket. Right there in Southgate. Which is not actually as what I thought it would be. It was actually quite the opposite. I don't know. I thought it was going to be more chingon for some reason. I don't know if it was a name or what. Why did Shyla join Harpies at an old age? In my personal opinion, I feel like Shia LaBeouf struggles a lot mentally, emotionally, right? I feel like, he has that character where he wants to fit in and he wants to, feel like he's a part of something, right? Going based off of just like the interviews that I have seen and him expressing himself, he comes off like that, right? So I have a feeling that during the shooting of the movie, playing the character role, right, of this gangster, whatever, right, drowning himself in that role, and then feeling having actual real gang members around him, right, real actual individuals from the streets and from barrios, and being a part of the environment, right? Like just hanging out and just interacting. I have a feeling that he liked that, right? He liked fitting in. He liked being a part of that, right? And I have a feeling that that's the reason why he chose, to go down that path. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But that's just my personal opinion, though. It's not facts. This is just what I think. Because only he truly knows why. But normally the ones that join at an old age don't last at all. It's because they join for the wrong reasons. I mean, there's not a right reason, right? But that's their reasons are even lesser of a good reason, if there even is such a thing as a good reason, right? There's your character. Yeah, that's what happens, bro. You know, you have individuals that are like that, bro, that they get caught up in the environment, bro. You know, you have individuals that hang out with homies that are, you know, are from the streets, right? And they start getting a little cocky, bro. They start feeling themselves, right? They start almost believing like if they're from the streets, bro. Like if they actually, you know, about that. You know, you see it happen on on here from time to time, right? With certain YouTubers, right? Who start, pumping themselves up and start talking a little bold for their level. But, it is what it is. Shit, you see it happen with Adam. And Poetic Flacco. And others that are in the, Chicano genre of YouTubers. They know who they are, so there's no reason of why to mention them. No use beating a dead horse, I always say. Chicano Malo is definitely up in the building, bro. ¿Qué huele, carnal? ¿Qué es la buena vida? What you up to, my boy? Drinking or what? ¿Pisteando? ¿Unas frías? ¿Calidad? How's the weather over there where you at? They be having that nice weather too. You got Clippers or go to a bar. You got Clippers or go to a bar. Nah, I do it myself. With a razor, the razors that you get at the fucking Dollar Tree, for $1 you get like 3 of them. My boy, we from the streets. Got off the jale at 3, just had pozole. Damn, my boy, si te aman a ti, carnal. I thought homie was gonna say like a sandwich or some shit. My boy said pozole. Like, casi nada. Because pozole is bomb, bro. There's very few things that could match pozole, like birria or mole. Hasta pinche flautas de tinga. Saludos, G. Hey, what's cracking like it, my boy? Hey, you have good taste in music, carnal. There's very few people that actually dive into those kind of songs by Biggie. You rarely always hear the ones that everybody, normally knows, like the fucking, the Cali and the Hypnotize and the, the typical ones. The radio play, I guess you could say. Tupac played the role. Yes, he did, bro. And you see how he got lost in his role, bro. He believed literally everything that he rapped. You know what I mean? He believed that he was, what he said he was. And he was gonna go out in a blaze of glory to try to maintain that image. But truth of the matter is that you didn't grow up like that. You weren't from those areas. You didn't have it like that, growing up. You didn't been through none of those things. Yeah, as a rapper, he went through stuff, right? But to say that he had gone through shit before he became a rapper, well, that's not true, right? But he understood. I either live up to the character or my rap career comes crashing down, right? So yeah, no choice. He kind of put himself in a corner, right? We either sink or swim. Hey, but he went out in the blaze of glory. What about albóndigas? Oh yeah, albóndigas is good too. Gracias. Yeah, it's rare in these days, right, that you actually get some people with good taste. Normally people be requesting some or putting some weird ass tracks. like like every time I heard a Tekashi 69 song, I was always like, how can people think this shit is good? I don't get it. So, Sauce Walking got clapped too, and didn't make it. Damn, that's crazy, bro. Está cabrón. Hey, you putting an image out there. You talking the rah, bro. You should already know. There's people out there that ain't got shit to lose, right? You just became a reason. Because it really is that simple, bro. And it really is that sad. You just gotta give a person a reason. What's cracking like in Dishpo? Was good. Cuba Shadow. What's cracking the Mexican G? He got too comfortable with Suge and some. Yeah, facts. Mostly Suge though, out of anybody, because Suge was like that. He was the bully type, right? So that had to rub off on Tupac, right? Like just being able to throw your weight around people, right? It must have been toxic. So without a doubt, he played a gigantic influence. It's been a crazy week for hip hop. He changed with 3 Murder, Big U, and the Rolling 60 Cribs, and just today, so smoking. Yeah, shit's always cracking like that though. I think now with the amount of artists that are out there, that's why you hear about so much shit happening, right? I mean, the Big U thing. Anybody, a blind person could have seen that coming. I don't know how the fuck people didn't think people were not gonna get arrested. Like, bro, do you not hear what these people are saying on camera, bro? This shit is crazy. And Brick Baby right there in the video, you can see the handle of the fucking strap, and it's like, bro, you're not even supposed to have any weapons on you, my guy. It's like you're not even trying at this point, right? It's like you want to get arrested. It's like if they fucking think that the cops don't watch this shit, bro. It's like they really think that. Bro, that's their fucking job. They literally have a branch of law enforcement just to go through social media and see what kind of activities they find. They also keep up with the times or get left behind, right? As criminals evolve, then they gotta evolve, with them. So obviously, social media is a big, how can I say, a weapon now, because people do weaponize it, right? For their criminal activities. Stupid. R.I.P. George Foreman. Damn, he passed away. No way. That's crazy. That fool had some female fights, bro. No lie. Serio. Fool was so chingón, even his grill puts the competition to shame, huh? I thought Big U was a good OG, but seems like he's just a shady ass Suge Knight was. Well, I mean, you also got to play the role, right? I mean, if you actually pay attention to the interviews when Big U is talking, whatever, you see glimpses of his true character within the interviews. You do see him because they can't help it. Individuals like that, they can't help it, right? They get triggered by certain things, and you see their true character come out. You know what I mean? And those glimpses that you see, that's who they really are. You see a lot of individuals that are like that, right? They try to act like they're, like good people, but they're truly not. There's actually a really good example of that if you go watch. I think it's Chemo Flix has it on his channel, right? Where Gunner's arguing with L, and you actually see it happen with him. It's a perfect example of that. Him and that one, was it a TikToker? I think he was a TikToker, right? He was Middle Eastern and he killed his wife. Um, he also has a really good video where he breaks his character and you get to see a perfect example of that as well. True narcissism, at its fullest. You know, for those who are interested in human behavior, those are really good things to study. The break in the character and the how they gotta remind themselves that they gotta keep themselves on check. Suppressing their true individual self and keep up the facade. One of the things Big U is accused of and is human trafficking and pimping underage girls, and he used his knees to do it. Apparently, he was having. Yeah, I read the thing. I don't know about the indictment because it's an ongoing thing, right? So I won't touch on none of those things, right? But yeah, I mean, from what I read, yeah, it kind of looks like he's fucked. No lie, because it kind of looks like they have a lot, bro. A lot. Like a lot. It looks like a lot of people were telling, bro. That shit did not look good whatsoever, bro. I'm pretty sure he could afford a good attorney. He's gonna need it. He's definitely gonna need it. And that's crazy though, because all of this shit could have been avoided though, bro. But they put themselves in the spotlight. They kept boasting and bragging, bro, and just wanting that attention, bro. That these fools started, digging into their lives. It's like, guys couldn't just leave it alone, huh? It's crazy. The more crazier part is that how individuals come on the internet and they're trying to convince the audience, like, why are you trying to convince them? Who the fuck are these people to you guys, bro? Do you work for them? Are they somehow involved in this thing that you gotta prove something to them? Like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Honestly, I don't even know what to say no more about this shit, bro. I don't understand why so many people waste so much time trying to fucking, explain or like prove something to the audience or explain something to the audience. Like, why, bro? That shit is crazy. Like, if them believing you is gonna fucking change anything, bro, or like, if that's like shit that needs to happen before moving on, like, fucking weird. I don't know, bro. Is that insecurity, bro? It's crazy. The only 60s. I mean, it's one of the reasons why people say gangbangers do pimping and human trafficking underage girls. Oh yeah, gangs do that. Don't get it twisted. Gangs do that. You know what I mean? See, the difference is that people grab the stigma that gangs do that and automatically assume that all gangs do that, right? But the thing is that gangs don't fall under universal rules, right? So while maybe one gang does, this, that doesn't mean that all the gangs do the same, right? Gangs have different rules, right? Different rules apply for, different street neighborhoods, depending how those individuals, run their neighborhood and what rules they created, to run under. You get me? Do they share some similar, rules? Yes, like the no snitching and shit like that, right? But to say that, they share all the same rules, or it's not true. That's why I always found it weird when people try to attach one gang's rules to a different gang, right? Like, oh, they can't do that because I have a homie from this neighborhood, and they're not like, why are you attaching that gang's rules to this gang though? If it's not the same fucking gang though, bro. It's different. There's certain gangs that can't even tag in their own neighborhoods. There's certain gangs that don't let their members do certain drugs. There's, other gangs that, but different neighborhoods have different rules. You know what I mean? Depending how those individuals have their neighborhood structure. But see, the news media likes to push it like if all these neighborhoods run the exact same way when they don't. Sure, similar. and they're all bad nonetheless. But you know what I mean. And that's not me trying to like make excuses. You know what I mean? It's just, well, that's not true. So I mean, if it was true, I wouldn't be saying it, but it's not. Do certain individuals end up, shit like that? Yeah, I mean, you have rules, people break rules, right? So this is no different over here. Rules are set in place, but there's some members that end up breaking the rules. That's why there's punishments, DPs, right? That's not supposed to be known to the audience, or the people, right? But nowadays it's like the thing to do to be announcing for some strange reason. 6ix9ine didn't up to the release. Well, no, well, 6ix9ine tried to play the role. He was going with them, and he tried. Obviously, when shit cracked, yeah, he folded like a fucking lawn chair, like a origami. But not to say he didn't, try, if you can even call that trying. That was el Puro Sur 14. My respects from Norte 13. Serio, perro? Solo about the snorteños? The surteños? Big U and Cowboy didn't. Cowboy got it rounded up too. Oh, then he ain't definitely gonna. Well, I don't know how blacks fix their problems, but 6ix9ine were both fake Bloods who were getting started. The only difference is Pac died when trying to jump a rival crib. Well, he died in retaliation, the retaliation process. So alleged by the great Keefe D, who is another individual who can't keep his mouth shut. And who needs to study law because apparently he doesn't know how law works or grammar. Like, bro, you're stupid. Like, no, he cried me immunity. Like, do you know what immunity is, bro? Do you know how that works? And a regular police officer can't grant immunity, you crazy fuck. It's only something the district attorney and the judge can grant. Weirdo. That was a fool. Was a dog in the ring. He passed over. Yes, he was. Bro used to be knocking motherfuckers out before Tyson. And before Tyson started eating motherfuckers too. That fool must have been starving like fucking like no tomorrow that day, bro. He just seen that air. He was like, fuck it. He said it was a little salty. Salute Shadow. I said my hey, likewise. Tell Mad Max I said, hello there. Household name. Yeah, he was. Motherfuckers used to be scared to get in the ring with that fool. That fool used to just be sitting there chilling. How come get shook like guess when people see it both famous and not? How come who gets gas when famous? It's going Feedman, my boy. How about yourself? Foreman was the only boxer to come back from 40-year-old and become champion again. Serio. Who had that in him, bro? Except that rematch, though, that haunted him. That's fucked up, huh? Like, you know what? I ain't gonna give you a rematch. Like, what the fuck? Motherfucker. I didn't think Big U can afford an attorney. Of his money was from the grants by the. But he has homies, and according to the indictments, it seems like he has juice. Enough juice to get himself some paper to get a good attorney. You know what I mean? At least if we're going based off of what the indictment was saying, then he should have no problem. The thing that did, that I will, touch on briefly about the indictment though, that really caught my eye and I was tripping out, was the fact that he was hanging around with NBA players, all-star NBA players, right? Like the cream of the crop when it comes to the NBA, and literally ripping them off for millions of dollars. And it's like, why the fuck are these rich, successful NBA players hanging around with gangsters rolling dice? Like, out of all the shit they could be doing, if that's what they rather spend their time doing, hanging out in the hood with these individuals and rolling dice. Like, bro, ain't you a bro, these fools have, contracts, 286 mil. Like, bro, what the fuck you doing over here acting like if you from the streets? My God, bro. The insecurity is crazy up in this bitch. Like, with all that money, but you can't buy this, huh? You want this and you can't buy this, huh? For some strange reason. Is it the fact that they can't buy it? Is the reason they're drawn to it, or what the fuck? Same with Baby and Chris Brown and Lil Wayne. Is it the fact that you can't buy respect that just makes you want it? Is that what it is? Is it the fact that you wish you could just not give a fuck like these individuals? But where's that gonna get you? But it's appealing to them, huh? Interesting. Or maybe because they could just actually be themselves. I don't know. Normally when you're a celebrity, you truly can't be yourself because, anything wrong you said, you lose endorsements and, you have your agent calling you and telling you, you got to now apologize. And you know what I'm saying? Because everything's a fucking business move with your life now. Literally, you can't even express yourself truly how you feel about something because you might offend somebody and then they might not take their endorsements. And then now, you have your company, sweating you. And now, you know what I'm saying? That must be a fucking horrible existence. No lie. I think an NBA player had to touched about that, también, where he said that he can't even fucking say how he truly feels about shit because, it's a lot of money involved. Hey, it comes with the territory, bro. You want to be making that kind of money? Then this is the kind of shit that you have to put up with, bro. It's just the way the game is, homie. Gotta pay the price. Hey, they didn't say it was gonna be easy or fun. His son, who played in the NFL, helped him with the lawyer. I think Barrios should make mandatory DPs for anybody that smokes Scante. That's how could I say, something good, right? But the thing is that Scante is what keeps the machine moving, though. Scante is the shit that keeps these individuals from doing stupid shit, from encouraging them to do the stupid shit, from, keeping the chaos going. Because these gangs literally, the purpose of their neighborhood is just chaos, bro. Because if you now, have no chaos or no beefs, then what is the purpose of the neighborhood now? You have a lot of angry individuals who are looking to release that anger. That's literally why they join gangs. It's not to fucking make money or other stupid shit that people say. A lot of young, angry individuals who just want to fuck shit up because it makes them feel better. As stupid as that may sound, but bro, that's 100% true, bro. That's why there's so much beef and chaos and why they always want to be doing stupid shit. Makes them feel better, homie. Why don't all gang members sell drugs or do fraud and make illegal? Because as as crazy as it may seem, to some people, right? Because, how can I say, how there's that thing that people say that it's stupid that they kill child molesters and all that in jail, right? Because you have murderers and drug dealers, and it's like, since when do criminals have fucking morals? And since when do criminals, you know what I mean? Pretty much saying that criminals really don't give a fuck and really have no morals, right? But in all true reality, criminals do, homies do have morals, right? There's certain individuals that don't get down certain ways, right? Like, you're still an individual within yourself, right? Even though you're a part of this group. So you still think for yourself, right? And you still have your views and your values, right? And the neighborhood doesn't push, that you gotta think like this and shit like that, right? Or force you, to be like that. Maybe some gangs do, right? But a majority of them don't, right? Because everybody has an equal say so, so everybody still has, what they stand on and what they don't stand on. Some people are cool with individuals, getting high. Some individuals don't like it, depending on the homie. That's why you have homies getting down amongst themselves. Some homie didn't like, that this homie was doing something and he took action. But then there's other homies that don't mind, just depending on the homies. Because at the end of the day, you're still your own man. You know what I mean? That's why, like, if a homie has an issue, then the homie's gonna handle it, bro. It's not. We roll up with him just to make sure that shit doesn't get out of hand or that they don't try to set him up, right? But the homie's here to handle his business. You know what I mean? But we're not here to handle his business for him. You know what I mean? Every dog has their day, bro. People are gonna see it. See, that's the thing. Individuals, and that's when people, when they join for the wrong reasons, that's when they start to realize that it's not what they thought it was, right? Then when now they gotta now get their hands dirty and they don't want to, right? Where it's like, well, I was kind of figuring that, we can all go and and it's like, nah, my boy, shit's all around you, homie. We gonna go with you, but you gonna handle it. And that's when you see their true colors, bro. And trust me, every dog has their day. And that's when you'll see their true colors, bro. It's only a matter of time. Because a lot of people talk tough, right? I made a video talking about that. People that put in fake work, the individuals that are always holding the strap just for pictures and everything, shoot in the air to scare people, right? And, tag around the outskirts of people's neighborhoods, but don't actually go directly to where, you know what I mean? Making it seem like he's actually doing something when in reality he's not doing anything, sucking up nerds instead of, fools that actually bang, causing chaos. But in all true reality, if you actually pay attention, they're not really doing anything, but they're trying to make it seem like they are. But like I said, when you've been in this life, you've done seen it all, bro. That you can spot these individuals. You can see right through them. Tattooed face, head, everything, bro. And the biggest bitches, bro. All that shit is an act. And yes, they go that far as to tattoo their whole entire fucking, You'll be surprised how many motherfuckers like that break, bro. I've seen so many, bro. So many. I even had them from my neighborhood, bro. All that shit is a lie, bro. That shit don't make you no. That's why I always said that shit don't make you no gangster, bro. Pay attention to, read between the lines, homie. The ones that try the hardest, the ones that are always talking the loudest, like if they say, are always the softest, bro. That's why they talk so much, because they could still be questioned. Their credibility could still be questioned. Their work could still be questioned. Their status could still be questioned. Those who actually put in work and handle their business, bro, they already know what they about and everybody. So they don't got shit to, fear, of somebody, calling them out or woofing on them, right? So they don't got to say a goddamn thing. That's why you see the older, they always the quiet ones, just sitting, just listening, not saying anything. They're just watching and hearing. Because they don't got to say anything, bro. And people already know, about them. But these individuals talk so much, and if you really now home in on them, you start to notice, damn, what the fuck has this motherfucker actually even done? And then you start to realize he hasn't never done shit. That's why he's always got to be talking about how real gangsters do this and real gangsters do that. I want to put this one. You ain't no fucking G, bro. Because if you were, you wouldn't be fucking barking all the goddamn time. Like, if that's what real G's do, like, if you're going to impress somebody, bro, we have all done the shit that you're talking, bro. You're not impressing nobody here. You're not talking about some shit that we didn't all have, been through and done. So nobody's wild. And when you hang around with, you already know this. You know what I mean? It's not something that has to be explained to you. These individuals, that's how you know they don't hang around with homies, because if they would be getting checked, and they wouldn't act the way they act. But they act like that because they ain't never around no real motherfuckers. That's why they talk so recklessly, because they only hang around squares that just, hype them up. You know what I mean? And that's the 100% facts, bro. That's one thing that, you learn real quick, in your time living the life. How to spot them. Even from your own neighborhood. Because they exist in every neighborhood, bro. You have weenies, snitches, lames, pedophiles in every neighborhood, bro. With that amount of people, bro, you just gotta weed them out. And with time, that's why we say time's the greatest tool, bro. It always exposes everything. They end up getting exposed. A lot of homies need content to put in work. Facts, bro. There's individuals that without this content, bro, you will never see them around. I swear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. We got to get back to it. We're chopping it up with you guys, and we out.